G'day, my name is Shay with Box Collector, and today I'll be teaching you how to play the 2 to 4 player game ANTGravity, designed by Paweł Siemek and published by Lucrum Studio, who provided me with this copy. Keep in mind this is a demo copy, and all game rules and components are subject to change. ANTGravity is a dynamic, tactical game in which cosmic ants battle not only each other for control over the flags, but also struggle against unusual gravity. Manage your ants, use futuristic technology, destroy asteroids, acquire new weapons, and, most importantly, outsmart your opponents. To set up the game, shuffle the asteroid tokens face down, meaning the purple and the symbol you want face down so they all just show pink. Then randomly place one token face down on each space marked with an asteroid symbol on the board. Put the remaining asteroid tokens next to the board. They form the asteroid pool. Put a supply of mine and energy tokens next to the board. Place the round marker on the space on the doom track corresponding to the number of players. Shuffle all doom tokens face down, then place one on each space to the right of the round marker. And if you have any extra, return them to the box. Randomly choose the first player, and that player gets the first player marker and places it on the table in front of themselves. Each player selects a color and takes 2 ant tokens, an ant base token, and flag tokens in that color. Return any unused tokens to the box. Depending on the number of players, place the neutral bases and white flags, matching the symbol on the flag to the symbol on the space, as well as the ant bases and flags in the player colors on the board. The way the board is set up changes greatly depending on player count. For this example, this is how a 2-player game is set up. Each player takes a starting wings card to their hand and return the unused wings cards to the box. Take all cards marked with this symbol out of the arsenal deck. These are legendary cards. Shuffle all the legendary cards and place them face down in the bottom right of the board. Divide the remaining cards into weapon cards, the red cards with the BAM symbol, and equipment cards, the green cards with the ZAP symbol. Shuffle each type separately and create face down stacks at the bottom of the board matching the deck to the board. Starting with the first player, each of you draws the following cards. The first player draws 1 weapon or equipment card. The second player, 2 weapon or equipment cards. The third player, 3 weapon or equipment cards, and the fourth player, 3 weapon or equipment cards and 1 energy token. Each player can choose how many cards to draw from each arsenal stack. Starting with the first player and going clockwise, each of you places both of your ants on empty spaces adjacent to the base of your color. An empty space is a space with no asteroids or other ants. And you must place your ants in such a way that the gravity arrow, which is this green arrow right here, is pointing towards the base. This position means the ants are considered to be on base. And that's the setup. On your turn, you follow 3 steps. Return your ants from the hospital and place them next to your base. Activate your first ant and activate your second ant. At the start of your turn, all your ants that are currently in the hospital return to the game. Ants taken from the hospital are moved onto your base. The arrow must be pointing at the base. Then you can either activate your first ant or draw a card. Now, when you activate an ant, you can, in any order, move the ant and play a card. You can also perform any number of additional actions, such as a flag pickup, flag pass, and flag touchdown. Then you can either activate your second ant or draw a card. After you have activated both of your ants, your turn ends, and the next player to your left begins their turn. As you might have guessed, what plays a huge role in ANTGravity is gravity. It constantly affects all ants on the board. During the game, whenever an ant moves through space, it must act according to its gravity, meaning it will fall in the direction indicated by its arrow, until it encounters an obstacle, which can be an asteroid, a base, or another ant where it can safely land. Or it continues to fall off the board, which means it is eliminated and moved to the hospital area. Gravity is an effect of most actions in the game. It is resolved only by the active player, separately for each ant and in any order they choose. Gravity is checked whenever the board state changes. So after a move, playing a card, anytime an asteroid is removed from the board, and for each ant individually. When this happens, the ant falls in the direction indicated by its arrow and continues until it either lands on an obstacle or falls off the play area. An ant's movement can consist of a jump and a turn. A jump means moving an ant to an adjacent empty space. A turn involves rotating the ant token and setting its gravity in the chosen direction. When activating an ant, you always perform a jump first, followed by a turn. But you may skip the jump phase and only perform the turn. At the end of the movement, you must resolve the effect of gravity. So in this example, I could take my ant from here and jump down here, and then turn my ant this way, which results in my ant falling onto my base. Cards are played from your hand and you apply its effect. After resolving the card, discard it to the appropriate discard pile. So if I was playing Detonator, then after using it, I can put it in the matching discard pile. Wings cards are always removed from the game after use. Weapons are used to attack your opponent's ants and destroy asteroids. When using a weapon, you must first define the line of fire, which is defined as a straight line from your ant to whatever you are shooting. A missile fired in the chosen direction hits the first obstacle encountered and triggers the effects described on the card. Equipment is used to perform an additional movement with your active ant, draw cards, or move asteroids. When using equipment, there is no need to define the line of fire. Its effects cover the entire play area. Line of fire is determined along the line of spaces from any edge of the starting space. So if I was using my beam rifle, I could shoot this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, or this way. So any of the faces on the spot I'm occupying. When activating an ant, you can perform any number of additional actions in any order, independent of moving or playing a card. You may alternate between main actions and additional ones. However, remember that you cannot interrupt a main action to perform an additional action. The active ant may pick up a flag from a base if it is adjacent to the base. Again, meaning that the arrow is pointing at the base and the ant is on the base. You can pick up either a white neutral flag or the flag that matches your color, but not any of the other player colors. Once the flag is picked up, the ant moves along with it. So to make sure we're clear, this ant is able to take one of these flags because its arrow is pointing directly towards the base and it's on the base. But this ant can't because although it's right next to the base, its arrow isn't pointing at it. And the same with that one. The active ant may pass the flag it is carrying to the other ant from the same team. To do this, both ants must be on an adjacent space, with the gravity arrow of the active ant pointing towards the other ant. In the same way, the active ant may take the flag from another ant from the same team. Now remember, an ant can carry only one flag at a time, and if the ant carrying a flag is eliminated, the flag must be placed back on the base from which it was picked up, marked with the same symbol. All right, so let's say I just finished activating this ant, and unfortunately I wasn't able to get the flag into my base. I want this ant to grab the flag and place it in my base. The problem is I can only move and turn once, meaning I can't retrieve this flag and deposit it with my basic actions. But I have a jetpack, so I'm going to use this first, which allows me to move my active ant. So I'm going to move my ant to this spot, and now I can retrieve this flag, and then I can use my main action. I don't need to move, but I can turn, and now I am adjacent to my base and can deposit my flag. Ants can be eliminated in one of 4 ways. The first way is when an ant falls off the play area. So if this ant decided to use this bazooka to fire at this asteroid, the asteroid would be destroyed. And as I mentioned earlier, gravity is resolved immediately after. So this ant is going to fall off the board, out of bounds, and get deposited in the hospital. And one thing to keep in mind is you are not allowed to perform a movement action if it would result in your ant falling off the play area. But you could destroy an asteroid your ant is on, which would result in the ant falling off the play area since it's not counted as movement. The second way you can destroy an ant is by a splat. So if this ant used the big gun, it says here, push the hit ant by 2 spaces. So if this ant wanted to push this ant, it would be stopped by this asteroid, basically meaning it's being squashed into it, which splats it, killing it. The third way is through a collision. If this yellow ant played this big gun and shot at this asteroid, we flip it and we see that it's destroyed. The red and blue ants would fall into each other, and that is what a collision is. It's when 2 ants during a gravity resolution land onto the same space with their gravity arrows pointing at each other, and both get eliminated. The fourth way an ant can be eliminated is through card effects. Some cards let you eliminate another player's ant. Whenever an opponent's ant is eliminated during your turn, gain 1 energy token. The eliminated ant is placed in the hospital area, as I've mentioned before, and will return to the game at the start of the owner's turn, deployed next to their base. The player whose ant was eliminated by an opponent draws 1 legendary card as compensation. This is the only way to gain legendary cards during the game. If you hit an asteroid with a missile as a result of playing a card or another effect, immediately flip its token and apply the revealed effect. An asteroid with this symbol is damaged and stays in its place with the damaged symbol face up. You immediately gain 1 energy or draw 1 basic arsenal card. You can choose which type. If a damaged asteroid is hit again, it is immediately destroyed and you return it to the asteroid pool. If when you flip an asteroid it looks like this, it is destroyed and returned to the asteroid pool. Only the active player receives the bonus for destroying an asteroid. And note, ant bases and neutral bases are indestructible, so do not flip them if they're hit. Some cards and Doom tokens allow players to place mine tokens on asteroids. If an ant lands on an asteroid with a mine token, the mine is immediately detonated. Remove the mine token and apply the asteroid's effects. All ants on the asteroid are eliminated. If an asteroid with a mine is ever moved, then the mine goes with it. Energy, which are these little lightning bolt tokens, are gained as a bonus for damaging asteroids, which I showed earlier, or eliminating enemy ants. During your turn, you may spend 3 energy tokens to draw 1 basic arsenal card, or 1 energy token to play an additional card from your hand. You may draw and play additional cards multiple times during your turn, as long as you have enough energy. Unused energy tokens remain in your pool for future rounds and may help you break a tie at the end of the game. Once all players have completed their turns, the round ends. At the end of the round, flip a new Doom token on the Doom track. Resolve its effect and return the token to the game box. Finally, move the round marker 1 space to the right. If there are no more Doom tokens on the Doom track, the game ends. Otherwise, each player draws 1 basic arsenal card, either a weapon or an equipment card. Then you reduce your hand to 4 cards. If you have more than 4 cards, discard the excess to the appropriate discard piles. During your turn, you can have more than 4 cards in your hand. You only adjust the number of cards at the end of the round. If at any time you are supposed to draw a card, but the stack is empty, just reshuffle the corresponding deck pile to create a new draw pile. And then the next game round begins. The game can end in one of 2 ways. If at any point during the game a player reaches 3 victory points, the game immediately ends and the player is declared the winner. Or if the round marker leaves the last space on the Doom track, the game ends and it's time to count the points. Now, each flag delivered to your base grants you 1 victory point. For a neutral flag, and a flag in your color gives you 2 victory points. And as I mentioned, the player with the most victory points wins the game. If there is a tie, look at the board and check to see if any of your ants are carrying a flag. If so, add victory points for these flags to your score. If you're still tied, compare the number of energy tokens each tied player has. And the player with the most energy tokens wins. And if there's still a tie, then just rematch. And that is how you play ANTGravity. I hope you enjoyed learning how to play, and feel free to check out my other teaches and playthroughs. Thanks.